Well, good things seem to come in threes for the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. It's quite a list, and he's going to continue to break a ton of records from beyond New York when we think about what he has done regular season and playoff, but it helped for a huge Game 1 win. So what does it mean to Steph to pass Ray Allen and find his spot at the top?
In terms of playoff records and things like that, obviously it helps you play in a lot of playoff games and have an opportunity to go after those type of things. The way I play, the shots I take, you obviously have confidence every time you rise up, but to be in the same category and to pass a guy like Ray Allen and all the iconic moments he's had, in playoff games or in finals games and all that type of stuff, it's pretty surreal. So definitely, honored and grateful for those opportunities. I always joke though, I shoot a lot of threes, I better make a lot of them.
Well, I think that question has been answered. No worries. You've made plenty of them, as has Clay and the whole team. I want to start here kind of overarching because I remember Fish was sitting a couple weeks ago. They had that bad loss to the Timberwolves. They look bored. And you hate saying that, but I was asking you about that. What's it like when you're trying to kind of chase it down year after year? So now that we saw them in Game 1, how much did you see the switch turn? What kind of an impact did the Warriors make on you and how they performed in Game 1?
You definitely saw the switch turn. I think it turned on the last couple games of the regular season, but they were intentional about the effort that they put out against the Clippers in Game 1. I think they wanted to send a message to themselves, most importantly, as well as the Clippers and everybody else in the NBA, that they are serious about winning another championship. They competed hard. They didn't lose focus as many times throughout the course of this game. They still had 21 turnovers overall, which is a high number. But you could just tell in the crispness of how they played that they were ready to go, and they're going to be a tough out for anybody.
You use the word tough, Jet, you think of the Clippers, because Doc and that culture, oh man, even with Shamet, the kid they get at everybody seems to fit in. But Patrick Beverley, I love Patrick Beverley. I mean, because he's not afraid of anyone. Let's start with the talk. I thought KD's comments, you can tell there's a respect level there. They clearly know each other. What did you make out of the conversation between Durant and Beverley and ended up both getting ejected?
Well, you already know Kevin Durant's a competitor, but Patrick Beverley is pound for pound one of the most competitive guards we have in our league. And he's been like that since day one. He plays with a tremendous chip on his shoulder, and he knows how he can be effective for his team is defensively, get into the head or the body, whatever it takes, of the opposing team's star player. And his job in this series so happens to be Kevin Durant. The only way he can stop Kevin is to get him ejected. Because I'm telling you right now, defensively, there is no one in this league that can defend Kevin Durant. You're hoping he misses shots. But you can make him uncomfortable if you kind of do some of the things like Beverly did. Be physical. Talk to him. Those type of tactics.
Yeah. Not that you guys couldn't, but if next to me, you probably could use me as the chair you shoot over, which is always the common thing. Take us through kind of the video, because he's not afraid. Patrick Beverley was one-on-one with LeBron in a game this season, here Durant. But Jet, what did you see here from how easy they made it for KD offensively in game number 1?
Well, KD made it easy for himself. When you're 7 feet and can shoot with range, can get to wherever you want it in your spot on the floor, right here, logo ISO. KD, we know he's a deadly scorer, but what do all great scorers do? They can facilitate. He makes the right basketball play when he sees the double team. Here, isolation at the elbow. He can see the double team coming or not. Bad defense, unaware of the cutter. He makes a great pass. Here, pick and roll situation. Rejects the screen, draws 2 people, 2 on the ball, hit the big fella, the shot will fall. All right, now, I like this. He gets the ball up, gets it back, penetrates down the middle. This is your 7-foot wing player attacking your defense from the top of the key. Very difficult to defend. I see the strategy. Let's put a smaller guard on him and allow him to get underneath KD, bother him a little bit. But as you know, a lot of people have tried. Many have failed.
Yeah, and it's Kevin Durant, who, with no offense to Porzingis, is the unicorn in our league. I've been calling Boogie the cheat code, because how could you add that to all of this? But how has it worked out? A guy who was there and now is again, Andrew Bogut, was on Playoff Central Live talking about Boogie's impact in Game 1.
Maybe a bit of a nerves there, but he'll be fine. He's one of the most talented bigs in the NBA. Just maybe settling the nerves a little bit, getting that first game out of the way, but he'll be fine. As long as we're going to him down low a little bit more than we did last game. We're just going to make sure that he's a confident DeMarcus Cousins, shooting the ball and not really looking complacent out there. So the fouls kind of threw him out of rhythm a little bit early. But like I said, he was in the gym earlier today getting his shots up, and he'll continue to get better throughout the series.
Fish, let's combine the two games because earlier you talked about, I know they're different points of their careers, but kind of similar situation. D'Lo, right, wasn't loading in the first half, a little bit nervous, that's human element. Boogie wanted this. This is what he's been excited about. This is what he's been waiting for. How much did you see nerves play a factor in game one?
Well, I'm sure there were nerves there, anxiety and a healthy anxiety. This is why he came to the Warriors,
right.
Be in this position, to be on a team that has a chance to win a championship. And when you're a kid, you don't envision getting off to a bad start in your postseason career. You expect to go out and play well. And there were things that Boogie's capable of doing that didn't quite happen for him to start this game. You have to give Zubac a little bit of credit, but I think Boogie will settle down in his role with the Warriors. This is not the typical role that he would have in a postseason situation. So he's finding his way within this team as well as within early postseason experience.
Yeah, he'll have himself hurt, I have a feeling, with all that talent before all is said and done. You can't mistake Montrezl Harrell either. I mean, you know that you're tough when you're making the refs afraid to hand you the ball when you're at the free throw line. Harrell and the Clippers looking to get even tonight. More game time is coming. This 1-2 punch of Montrezl Harrell and Lou Will is good as you're going to find, including, of course, the all-time leading bench scorer in Lou Will. But it's because of what they learned off the court about each other back years ago in the Drew League that brought this connection to where they are now.
It's an outside environment in an inside gym. There's a program, there's different pros playing on different teams.
At the Drew League, you know you're going to see DeMar DeRozan, you're going to see James Harden. You know, you go to New York, you know you're going to run into the New York guys. You know, you go to the Goodman in D.C., you know you're going to run into KD and all of those guys. And so us having our own thing, you know, in ATL.
One summer, I kind of talked to some of the guys on my team who was from Atlanta at that point in time in Houston about going down there and playing. And I kind of went down there and just happened to get on the team with some guys that I kind of knew from the college circuit.
I might have been out of town, and they had just put some guys on my team. I started getting phone calls like, this dude with the Houston Rockets played on your team. He was killing everybody. And I was like, who? They were like, Montrezl Harrell. They were like, he in here dunking everything.
I was trying to find an open run or any type of pickup or any type of good play I can get in to just improve my game.
He spends a lot of time playing pickup in the summer.
He's always playing basketball. He's never taken time off.
You can go in the gym and do 1,000 workouts with cones and chairs and stuff like that, but those aren't real targets. Those aren't people that's trying to guard you and moving as you move.
You know, Trez goes everywhere and play, and he played with Lou. Lou called him back to play again, played in the championship together, and ever since then they've been having that little bond.
If you're around this game long enough, you'll find you a running mate.
Playing with him, who's also doing a lot of teaching as well, just letting me know different things like how he wanted screens done and, certain spots or where he wanted the ball.
We ended up hooping together. The season went on, and I ended up getting traded to Houston. That same season that I had met Trez, so we ended up being teammates.
The Rockets have reached an agreement on a trade for the Clippers CP3.
Lawrence, I remember everybody calling us, telling us all the guys we got. Trez's name was one of them.
We learned very quickly in training camp, and we learned in practice what he can do.
He didn't play a lot in Houston, but what we liked about him in Houston was every time he did play, he was one of those guys that just made something happen.
He really opened people's eyes like, wait, who is this guy? This guy can play. This guy has a motor. This guy is tough.
Montrezl lays it in.
We embraced it, and we just try to bring a whole new, different energy to the team.
We started to get a reputation in the NBA with our bench.
It's a bench that you really feel like if you get down, you have cavalry.
Him and Lou, they got their chemistry together, and then that kind of just makes our team go.
It's kind of an unguardable combination. You have to pick your poison.
That two-man game is probably one of the best two-man games in our league right now.
Those two score 1.2 points per possession every time they run a pick and roll.
For perspective, the best offense in the league is going to give you about 1.16.
Eye contact, certain places on the floor, he know exactly where I'm gonna go. I know exactly where he's gonna go.
We talk about two guys that fit perfectly, right? Having a savvy pick and roll guy is really important because he understands immediately, look, I'm not covering that over the top. I'm throwing this lob, and you know, with Trez's energy and athleticism, he's a go-get-it, right? Like, you can basically, it doesn't matter where you throw.
The anger and ferocity that he plays with, I like that you can see sometimes a big man on the other team being like, I gotta deal with this.
Montrez's ability to set screens, slip to the pocket, explode to the rim, hook shots, floaters, it makes them a real dangerous duo.
It's a situation where opposites attract. He's pumping up the crowd. You know, he's doing that celebration like this. And then Lou he's always just so calm and cool and collected.
We got some fiery personalities in there, and I'm one of the laid back ones.
He doesn't say a lot, but when he talks, if he does say something, everyone listens.
He's a phenomenal leader. You know, he loves the Uncle Lou, you know, old man in the locker room thing.
Lou has that kind of personality that he's not a very talkative guy, but when he says some things, it's either real serious or real funny. That's just Lou.
I don't know, like I'm not the old preachy dude. I'm not the old preachy guy in the locker room. If I'm asked something, if somebody want to talk to me about something, we'll speak about it. Or if I genuinely have an opinion and I feel like I can help, I'll say something to somebody.
Him being in that sixth man and him coming off the bench and kind of, you know, being in that role, he already knew how to handle it, you know, so just being able to pass those words of encouragement, it definitely helped me out a lot, really.
You can tell the relationship has led to the numbers that we've seen. And look, when you look at the points off the bench, clearly, and all-time, by the way, Lou at the top of that list like he is this one. But I want to get into Harold here for a second because this is such a great story, and I'm glad they made the playoffs so this can get on a stage, even though he's only 24 and he's got a long way to go. But, Fish, we talk about players improving. This is a guy who's one of the more improved players in the league. He's not getting maybe the national credit like a Siakam, who certainly is, or De'Aaron Fox. But his game has stepped up, so I'm not surprised for you to hear about all those hours in the gym.
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, we talk a lot in the studio off camera about guys that really genuinely want it. They are in the gym all the time, working at their game, working on the things that they need to do to impact their game and their team's game. And Montrez is one of those guys. Everybody that speaks about him says the same thing, that he goes hard, he competes hard. Every time he's trying to dunk it on somebody. You saw that as soon as he arrived in Houston. It's the same in LA, and it is fun to watch somebody compete at the level that he does.
Lou Williams, Jet, he can be over his first 10. He's going to go probably 11 for the next 12. He gets hot. It gets real hot. What do you see when you see his impact on Game 2 tonight in this series? Because even though he's on the bench, he is really the guy who's at the forefront on this entire roster of guys who could score in bunches.
Well, Lou Williams is the focal point of the Clippers' attack. Obviously, he's a guy that comes off the bench, but he plays starter minutes and he finishes games. The thing about Lou Williams is, it's his mentality. He is on the attack all game long in pick and roll situations, in isolation situations, and Doc does a great job of featuring him. Now, the relationship with Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell together is very tough because when Lou Williams gets downhill, you know he's going to draw two people, and Montrezl Harrell is a beast when he attacks the rim. So I like the dynamic of those two together. I just don't know if it's enough when you're talking about facing the Golden State Warriors who have 2 or 3 guys with the same mentality as Lou Williams.
Montrezl Harrell was on the Rockets, as was Lou Williams. He watched the growth of Clint Capella. Now, a lot of his play kind of reminds you of that in the way he works in this offense. Take us through kind of the pick and roll, Fish, and what we see with the footage of these two kind of working together on offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a big in the NBA now, you better, become really good and skilled at playing in the pick and roll. But it starts, Lou Williams here, right to left crossover. Klay Thompson didn't have his body on Lou. He was able to get to his left hand and get the pull up. But here, Montrezl Harrell setting the pick and turning quickly, taking the right angles to get downhill. There, he didn't even have to set a pick. But Lou Williams, his ability to score the basketball is really what sets everything up because he's going to force you to bring 2 because of his ability to score. And then Montrez, there are very few guys that are okay with not being the star and eating the scraps. And Montrezl Harrell likes to eat the scraps.
I'll tell you what.
He does it well.
I'll tell you what. They don't have scraps in terms of the change to spend on some stars in the offseason. It's the kind of guys and the culture you want to play with as a free agent. Also not bad to have this 7-foot unicorn running down the floor and just owning you. More on Kevin Durant in this game coming up.